Do you have a 401k, 403b, or other such retirement plan with an ex-employer? Maybe you've heard that you can move it into your own IRA, but you find the whole process kind of intimidating, so you just haven't. In this video, I'll explain in plain language, step by step, exactly what you need to do to move your money from the ex-employer into your own IRA. The reason that people move their money from their old plan into their own IRA is to take control of it. If you have it with the old employer, they're still involved in your financial life, and a lot of people don't like that. Once they're done with an employer, they don't want them to have a say anymore or have any influence on their financial life. First off, let's define a few terms. A 401k or a 403b is a retirement plan that you have through an employer. An IRA or individual retirement account is a retirement account that you have that is independent of any employer. It's just yours. No one else is involved. When you move your money from an ex-employer into your own IRA, that's called a rollover. You may hear it said, I'm doing a 401k rollover, or I'm doing a rollover into an IRA. Maybe your 401k has limited investment options, or the ones that they do have very high expenses and fees. If you have your own IRA account, on the other hand, you have pretty much unlimited menu of choices of how you can invest your money within that account. If your IRA account is associated with a financial advisor, then you have the added benefit of having someone to guide you and help you make investment decisions. While most people prefer to move the money away from the ex-employer into their own IRA account, it's not always the best choice. In another video, I've gone into great depth on the other options besides doing a 401k to IRA rollover. I'll leave the description to that video in the description below. In this video, I'm going to share with you exactly what you need to know and to do if you do want to do a 401k to IRA rollover. The first step is to research and choose an IRA provider. This is the receiving institution that you're going to move the money into from the old 401k or 403b. If you're a do-it-yourselfer, you'll do all that research yourself, choosing the institution you're going to have the IRA with, and then choosing the investments that you will hold within that IRA account. If, on the other hand, you're the kind of person who likes help choosing and managing your investments, then you want to work with a financial advisor who can help you to set up your IRA account and choose the investments that are best suited for your needs. Once you've decided upon your IRA provider and the investments that you want to have inside of that IRA account after the money's transferred over, the next step is to actually open the IRA account with that provider. Whenever you open a new IRA account, there are a few forms that need to be filled out and some information that needs to be gathered. Let me walk you through some of that so you'll know what to expect. You want to provide your full legal name, your social security number, email, your birth date, your marital status, your physical address, and a mailing address if it's different. You'll need to share your phone numbers, and you'll need to provide your employment status, whether you're retired or not, and if you are not retired, what is it you do? What's your occupation? Who do you work for? And what's that address? Sometimes a new client will say, why are you asking me all these nosy questions? I just want to open an account. Well, whether you open an account with us or some other institution, these are questions that have to be asked. Regulators insist that we gather this information and that we know our clients. You'll be asked if you or any member of your immediate family are affiliated with or employed by a registered broker-dealer, and whether or not you personally are an officer, director, or 10% or more shareholder of a public company, and whether you or any member of your immediate family are involved in politics. You'll need to provide identification and that number, like a driver's license number, state of issuance, and the expiration date. Again, it's required by regulators and the industry that we have to gather this personal information to be able to open a new account. You'll also need to share with your new IRA provider some basic financial information, such as your approximate annual income, net worth, liquid net worth, federal tax rate, annual expenses, and any upcoming special expenses that might have an impact on your investment strategy. You'll also be asked about how much experience you have in various investments and how your money is diversified amongst these things at the present time. Next, you're given the choice as to whether you want to receive account communications via U.S. mail or email. Okay, so now we got the basic information gathered. Let's move on to the new account form. In the new account form, we establish who is the owner of the account and what type of an IRA account is it, traditional or Roth. I've done dedicated videos that go into greater detail the differences between Roth IRAs and traditional IRAs. I'll leave the links to those videos also in the description below the video. Next, you'll be asked, what's the purpose of this account? Is it just to accumulate assets for retirement? Is it to provide income in retirement? Is it estate planning or passing things on to your heirs, your estate, etc.? and also what your liquidity needs are for these funds. Next, on our new account form is a risk profile questionnaire in which you share how quickly you anticipate drawing from this account, and once you do, you plan on liquidating it in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, the rest of your life, etc. Next, we're going to ask you a number of questions to make sure that we understand what you're expecting from this account and these investments, how much fluctuation you can live with in exchange for seeking higher rates of return, or if you're satisfied having lower rates of return in exchange for less fluctuation in the value of your investments along the journey. Next, you'll indicate how this account is going to be funded. Where's the money coming from? It's going to be coming from your ex-employer in the form of a check. And we can indicate that this is to be funded later, that we're filling out the paperwork just to establish the account before the funds are transferred. The next thing you'll be asked are some of the details on the investment from the old employer plan that's going to be liquidated to fund the new IRA. What's the name of the company? What's the name of the product? What's the account number? The expected amount? The transfer type? Like a direct rollover or an indirect 60-day rollover. We'll talk more about that later in this video. The approximate percentage of your net worth that this investment represents, and other details about fees and expenses, potential surrender charges on the old investment. All this is to make sure that it is indeed in your best interest to move from the old investment to the new one. Next up are your beneficiary designations. This is very important. It says if you die, who gets your money? If you don't have beneficiaries designated, your account will go to probate. So let's zoom in on this for a moment so you can understand what you need to know about beneficiary designations. You'll need to state their full legal name, what their relationship is to you, such as a spouse or a child or other. You'll need their social security number. So this is something you want to think about and gather before you go to create your new account. If you're going to list your son or a spouse or a friend, whoever, as your beneficiary, you want to get their social security number. This makes sure that they get it if something happens to you and not someone else with the same name. The next thing you want to state is whether or not someone is a primary versus a contingent beneficiary. Naming someone as a primary beneficiary means that they are the first person in line to receive your money if you die. Most people name one or more primary beneficiaries and then also list contingent beneficiaries. Naming someone as a contingent beneficiary means if you die, and those you've named as your primary beneficiaries are also dead, then in that case, it would go to these people next. You can also check this box to make someone a per stirpes beneficiary. This means that if when you pass away, they've also passed away, that rather than their portion going to the contingent beneficiaries, their portion would go to their heirs. If you do not designate someone as a per stirpes beneficiary, then whatever share they would have received if they've also passed away would instead go to the contingents. In another video, I've gone even more deeply into the intricacies of beneficiary designations. I'll leave the link to that video also in the description below this video. If you're sitting down face to face with the person who's opening the account for you, you'll sign it the old-fashioned way with a pen and paper. If you're doing it online, you can e-sign the documents to create the new IRA account. We put together a PDF template that you can use to gather all this information in advance before you go to create your new IRA account. Click the link in the description below to download your copy. Now that you've established an IRA account to receive the transfer, the next step in the rollover process is to contact your old 401k plan administrator. If you're not sure who that is, ask the HR person at your ex-employer. So get the 401k plan administrator on the phone. Tell them, I want to roll over my 401k to an IRA account with another institution. What do you need from me? They're going to tell you one of two things. Either, we don't have any forms to fill out, just tell us who is the custodian with the new IRA. Or they, again, the old 401k plan administrator, may say, we have forms you need to fill out to give us the instructions on what to do with this 401k. Either way, you'll need to know who is the custodian in the new IRA account. You do also have the option of having that old 401k plan administrator make the rollover check payable to you. That's called an indirect rollover, and you almost never want to do it that way. If you don't have the funds back into the new IRA account within 60 days, the whole thing will be taxed as a full distribution from your IRA. So again, in having the 401k plan administrator make the rollover check payable not to you, but to the new IRA custodian, that's a direct rollover. It is not a taxable event. Now, it's most convenient if that 401k plan administrator will mail the check made payable to the new IRA custodian directly to that new IRA custodian. Sometimes, though, the employer plan won't do that. They'll make it payable to the new custodian, but they want to send it only to you, their ex-employee. If that happens, don't worry, that's not a taxable event. Then you would just want to take that check that was made payable correctly to the new IRA custodian, but mailed to you, and then you deliver it to the new IRA custodian yourself. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. You researched and chose a new IRA provider. You established a new IRA account. You contacted the old 401k plan administrator and told them you wanted to roll it over from them to an IRA at this new institution. Next up is tracking the transfer of the funds from the old 401k into the new IRA account. If you're a do-it-yourselfer, you might want to reach out to the receiving institution, your new IRA account provider, and ask them, have the funds come in yet? If not, you might want to reach out to the old 401k plan administrator and say, what's going on? What's the holdup? If you're working with a financial advisor, that's one of the things we do for you. We'll track the transfer from point A to point B so you don't have to. And finally, once the cash is received into the new IRA account, you want to make sure that it is invested in those investments that you researched and chose back in step one. The company that you have your new IRA with probably allows you to go online to their website and see when the money was received, when the money was invested, and any other actions that are going on. So you'll want to know how to log in and look at your account with the new account provider. If you don't know how to log into your account, reach out to the customer service department with your IRA provider to learn how to do so. Have you got an old 401k still sitting with an ex-employer? Please let us know in the comments below why you've chosen to leave it there, why you haven't rolled it over. I'm curious to know. If you're a do-it-yourselfer, I hope this information has been helpful to you. If you're the kind of person who likes working with an advisor who can help you with all this, well, that's what we've been doing for over 30 years. Reach out to us if we can help. For more on retirement planning and investment management, watch these next.